and Roberts. So stand by for that. And if you have any questions or comments for the show, put them in the comments below, either on Facebook, as we've been doing forever, or YouTube, as we've been doing for 2 days. Yeah, let us know. And it's pretty cool. Yeah, we're Facebook stars now. We're almost like, what's that guy's name? PewDiePie? We're like 3 PewDiePie.
There you go. Yeah.
That's exactly it. We are Facebook, or no, we are YouTubers, influencers. That's what I keep telling Mallory. I'm an influencer. Stop. I got to influence you to clean your room.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I know. Tell me it does not work. Hey, Jenny Lee down in Australia. I've already screwed up. I said happy Wednesday. It's Thursday for her. So thanks. All right, let's do this. 1737. I got to get this. I had to scarf down 3. Do you guys have mellow mushroom pizza down there?
Yes.
3 pieces I just knocked down while I was on a call with Disney. Like 10 minutes. I'm like, whoo! I got heartburn.
I lost my license in a mellow mushroom in Nashville.
I love that place. That's 80s. Man. That is my jam. That is my jam. I love it. We have one really close to us. All right, let's do this. Let's see. Yep, here we go. Welcome to episode 1737 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Monday to you. Hope you survived another weekend. There's less things to do to get hurt or have anything bad happen lately. Probably maybe you went out to the garage, maybe you cut the grass. Woohoo, that's an exciting weekend nowadays. But you know what? Some of us are traveling. We're going to talk about a very recent trip less than 10 days ago, and I'm headed to Walt Disney World in 48 hours. Research people. I'm going for you. I'm going to tell you what it's all about, but you know what? Before I go, I need to know what's going on for Mallory and myself. And that's why I got my buddies from down in Tennessee joining us today. So we have Robert and Erica. Hey, how's it going tonight, guys? What are you up to?
Going great.
Going good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So how are things in Tennessee currently?
I mean, they're spiking a little bit, but we've gotten mask mandates and stuff like that. But I mean, for the most part, it's fine.
Good.
I mean, my hospital has had some COVID, but it's not been too bad.
And so you work for a hospital, which is something I want to talk about here in just a few minutes, because you have more perspective than folks like me that, we're in a place with no mask mandates as of the time we're recording. By the time this comes out, we could possibly have them. We're discussing them. But we're going to talk about you guys heading down to Walt Disney World, July 19th to the 24th. So very recently, and fortunately we're all friends here. So I was getting text messages and all the pictures, and I was just dying of all the good things I was seeing. Honestly, everybody, just so you know, I booked the trip for Mallory and I because of these text messages. That's exactly what happened, was between these days, because I got to get in on that. So anyway, let's talk about the genesis of this trip. How long had you had this planned? Was this pre-COVID, or did you want to take advantage of this? So how did that what were the initial plans for this trip?
So we had a March trip planned for spring break, and it got canceled because it was like 2 days after they shut down the parks. And so we ended up rebooking those points. And as we looked at it, we're like, well, we need to go way out as far as we can in July, and hopefully they'll be open by then. So like April 1st, we booked the 19th through the 24th, and we got lucky and they opened up, before we ended up going.
So you guys are DVC, so that's a little different than most of us that are not, that, we just book on cash. So we have kind of you guys have what are called usage years. Mm-hmm. So that was how that worked out. Like you had to use them pretty much by the end of July was how it worked, or so?
No.
We actually, we had borrowed some points, and we had this whole complicated deal to go in March, and then we ended up having to cancel that trip. And we actually were within our use year, but we wanted to go in the summer before school started because we had no idea what was going on. So we thought end of July, we should be good. And we got lucky.
We got very lucky.
Yeah, you did. You know what? Those school could happen from Walt Disney World for the first half of this school year. I'm telling everybody, get down, take your laptop. That's what we're going to do. So you guys stayed again while you were there at the Riviera, which I want to hear about that because we obviously haven't had a lot of trip reports talking about the Riv. I like visiting. Mallory wants to stay there, and I try to explain to her there's a big difference between Pop Century and the Riviera as far as booking on cash. And right now we're more in the Pop Century ballpark on a travel agent rate in a standard room. We're still at Walt Disney World, but we can dream. So I saw Baby Yoda got the child got the that was pretty sweet. So walk us through your first experiences like Arrival, and because I also not only the Riviera, but I want to hear about how they're ensuring the safety of the guests with check-ins, with when you get to your room. What did you see? Walk us through all that stuff.
Sure.
So we'll start with the airport because Nashville, the airport was great. Southwest is boarding you 10 people at a time, which is so nice because you don't have 50 people in the aisle while you're trying to put their stuff in the overhead bin while you're just standing there holding your suitcase. So it was a lot nicer because that was social distanced and it just made it flow a lot easier. And then by the time we got to Orlando, we had to get our own baggage because Magical Express is not delivering to your room right now. So I was like, I don't even know where baggage claim is. But we did it.
Oh yeah. So if you're flying Southwest and you don't know, it's in Terminal A to get your luggage, and Magical Express is in Terminal B. So we didn't know that. We wandered a little bit before, so that was a first for us too.
I will jump in there and say one time I went to the wrong one just because I was tired, and it was because you do have to pick up your luggage if you arrive after 10. And this was like a race weekend where I checked some bags. I had all my running shoes and all that stuff. And I went to the wrong place. And I was like, where's Magical Express? So, I gotta go back, Yeah, totally. So good tip.
And then, you get to the Magical Express check-in, there's a sign there right away. It could be 60 minutes before your bus shows up. And I was like, uh-oh.
So Scotty G was offering to come and get us.
So I texted Scotty G. I was like, hey, you want to come get us? So, but luckily, we checked in, we got up to the front of the line, and our bus was actually sitting there. So we waited 5 minutes to get on the Metro Express.
Quickest ever.
And then that's such a like a crapshoot though with the Magical Express.
Yeah.
You could get lucky. I mean, it could have been 60 minutes, but you just got lucky. So, I always say expect the worst and hope for the best, and probably something will happen right in the middle. So that's good.
Yeah, and they're loading you from the back of the bus. So the first person on has to go to the very back, and then they'll do like 1 to 2 rows, and they mark it off on a graph, and they're like, okay, so you go to row whatever, and then you have to go there, and then the next people, they'll tell them where to go and stuff like that. So it's really nice because it's like social distance down to a science, basically.
And it's good because if you give people assigned seats, there's no question. I like that because I think a lot of times people make mistakes when it comes to this is what I'm seeing around here. People are making mistakes on social distancing, myself included, because I don't know what the expectation is. I know that I'm supposed to be 6 feet away, but how does that look? If they say go to this seat or stand right there on that dot and stuff like that, no question. So I like your trip started off with clear expectations. So it sounds like that kind of carried throughout the trip even.
Yes.
Cool. So how many people were on the bus real quick?
There were
13.
Oh, you counted?
Yep, I counted. There were 13 people.
You should be a school teacher. Raise your hand if you're not here. That's what I tell my fifth graders. Okay, so you guys, did you guys stop at a bunch of hotels, or did you get to the Riv pretty quick?
We were third stop, so we were last stop, but it was really quick. They went to Pop and Boardwalk.
Nice, nice.
So dropped us off at the Riv.
You get there, that place is gorgeous. I mean, especially outside, a lot of water, tall building. I mean, it looks like something that's, French, very beautiful. So initial thoughts on arrival and check-in.
I mean, I loved it from the get-go. I just loved it. And then the check-in, we'd already done the online check-in. So the only thing that we did was we went in to give our bags to Bell Services because our room wasn't ready yet. And we were going straight to Epcot. So we did that, and we saw a friend of ours that was there having breakfast that morning, said hi to her real quick. Hi, Wendy. And then went and caught the Skyliner and went to Epcot.
Sweet. So now what kind of unit did you guys have?
We had a Deluxe studio, preferred view.
Okay, so before we get to, we'll go to Epcot here in a second because I got to talk about that because that was the pictures that kind of put me over the edge right off the bat. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I'm always there. But tell us about the Deluxe studio at the Riviera. I mean, was it because you guys have stayed like have you stayed like at Old Key West or other comparable places?
Yes.
We've stayed everywhere on
Okay.
property. That was
Well,
our
compare it to something where some other DVC members are just Disney fans.
so.
Stayed.
As far as like the Deluxe studio goes, I would say it's on par size wise with the Poly because of the way the bathroom is laid out and that kind of thing. I felt it had a lot more room than the Deluxe studio at Boardwalk because I felt like the bathroom at Boardwalk is like, oh God, because I mean, like just trying to even use the restroom, it's so small.
There you go. That's man. That's important. And you're a runner, so we're used to the porta potties. So you know what? I mean, you don't want to have to pay that many points and that much money to have a porta potty in your hotel room.
I felt like at the Boardwalk. I'm not gonna lie.
And the sleeper, it's not a trundle bed, but the one you pull down.
Yeah.
Since it's not a fold out sofa, it doesn't have that hump in the middle or that dip. It's way more comfortable than what you would get out of a sleeper sofa.
Yeah, Owen was very happy to have that to sleep on instead of the sleeper sofa with the hump. So I will say, when I had done the tour of Riviera back in the day, they had made a big deal about there being USB ports on the pull down with some little shelving. So when we pulled down Owen's bed, I was like, there's no USB ports. So we ended up finding out through doing a tour of the 3-bedroom Grand Villa. Oh dear Lord. Oh my Lord. Yeah. Anyway, so if the trundle bed in the 1-bedroom, when you pull it down, it does have the ports, but in the Deluxe studio, it doesn't. And they didn't even know that until I pointed it out to them.
Wow. They class system there. You only get the USB ports and the big dogs. Yeah.
Basically.
More points.
In the Tower Studio, they have them, but there's nowhere else to really plug in the Tower Studios.
Huh. So the Tower Studios, for people who don't know, that's that special unique unit that it's only for 2 people. It's tiny from what I've heard.
For 2 people.
I've heard it's small. I'm curious though. I'd love to stay there solo. I mean, I'm worried I'd even get claustrophobic, but I would be at the Riviera, so I don't care.
It's no worse than a stateroom. It's really not. And then you have a full-size bathroom. So in those Tower Studios, because we toured it too, because why not?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
I toured the Riv before the mock-up rooms with Pam and Scott and all them. They went through the DVC presentation with them because I wanted ice cream and free fast passes. Just saying, they always say there's no hard sell. This lady was about ready to kill me if I didn't sign on the line. But so anyway, it was pretty cool. I fell in love with the units. I thought they were really well. I thought it was very much a combination of what they learned on Cruise Line because the one thing I'll say is they're beautiful and they're very clean looking and they're efficient. Like everything is there and it seems like everything has a reason as to why it is there. It's kind of like what they did with Pop. The rooms were very much a hotel room 10 years ago. Now they're efficient. They've learned how to use the space.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Very cool. So you guys, let's get over to Epcot. So you guys head over, throw your bags, bell services, get on with your park touring, head to Epcot first. So again, first time in the park since this has all gone down. What were your initial thoughts?
Oh, thank God.
We were so happy to be back. The first thing was we went through International Gateway because we rode the Skyliner. And at least my first little hiccup was with the body scanner. Right away, it flags me for something in my backpack. So that wasn't good because I had to dig all my stuff out of my bag for him. And I finally figured out what it was. I had a little metal wallet that I stick all my credit cards and stuff into. That's what set it off. So I just got rid of that for the rest of the trip and everything was better. But we got to the park about 11:30 a.m. So it'd been open
30 minutes.
About 30 minutes. And you saw the pictures. It was plenty of space.
Yeah, I would say so. You guys could have brought ball gloves and played catch with no problem on the World Fitness Promenade.
Yeah, it was very, very wide open. So of course we started hitting up the food and wine booths. And I guess, when they announced it from the get-go, we thought it was going to be a full food and wine. So we were a little I won't say, kind of maybe a little disappointed that it was kind of a pared down. It was a taste of Food and Wine, and they clearly said a taste of Food and Wine. If we had listened better, we would have had better expectations. But they don't have the full menus on everything, and that's what we kind of saw at all the restaurants, is that the menus are pared down. But it was still, all the food quality was still great.
Mm-hmm.
So did you find anything that was really, I just need to know, because I'll be there 2 days from this coming out. So what do I need to not miss in what is available or was when you were there?
Well, Brazil still has the pork belly, so got to get that. And it was fantastic. That's probably one of the better pork bellies we've ever had
Yeah,
from there.
it was really good.
And the cheesy bread.
Yep. And the carrot cake, of course, at Hops and Barley at the
yeah.
American Pavilion, still really good. We went to the World Show place.
Go in there. Go the cake pops, right?
Oh my God,
yes.
the cake pop.
That's right down, yes.
Like this big.
That's exactly what I was going to say. The cake pop it's a really good value. It's really big, tastes really good.
And it's only $4.
Yeah.
I heard Len talking about him on his show, and I saw him doing something with it on Instagram or some social media. So they're the cake pops. They dip into the liquid nitrogen, so they're super cold, and I get the shell on it real quick. Mallory's all about cake pops, but and she's never been in World Showplace, and I think this is a big tip for a lot of listeners. That I've been in World Showcase a couple times for events Disney's put on, and I didn't even know it was there because, again, it's not used that often. I think this is a great opportunity just to go back there and see this place, because it's an immense building, and it's really it's a great air conditioned place to kind of, take your mask. I don't know if you can. I guess you can if you're eating your pop real quick. Can you? How's that work? Because you can't move around, but what if you're eating cake pop? You just got to sit down, or how's that work?
Right. As long as you're stationary, you can take off your mask and eat and drink and whatnot, which I really didn't see many people trying to circumvent that. People were pretty good for the most part. So, except for the older people.
We saw a guy in a rascal. An credit crew stopped him because he had a
popsicle.
A popsicle. Credit crew stopped him, asked him to put his mask on. He did, and he rolled away 5 feet, pulled his mask back down, and started eating his popsicle. But I mean,
and then there were a couple of older people in Epcot that I looked at walking around with their mask down, and she looked like she could cut me, so I didn't say anything. But I was just kind of like.
Well, maybe they thought they lived a good life. Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
I shouldn't even say that. But no, it is funny because, honestly, I love going to Walt Disney World because you see everything. Within 2 or 3 days, you've seen it all. I mean, honest to God, that's how it is every time we go. So, doesn't surprise me. But I do like hearing, because you guys kept saying that over the text messages too, is that it seemed like there was kind of a kind enforcement, and it was consistent in that the guests bought in. And I've always thought this, at least for this initial kind of honeymoon period where the parks have been closed for months and months, we're getting back now. I think for the most part, what you're getting, the folks that are going, folks like you, folks like me, folks like the gardeners, the folks that are annual pass holders, DVC members, people that are bought into the magic. I don't think you're getting a lot of first timers or skeptical people. So for me, I want to make sure I do my part to keep those parks open. I love it. You guys the same way. Is that kind of how you felt the vibe was when you were there?
Yes. Yeah. There really wasn't. You would see sometimes maybe somebody their mask would slip off their nose, and they would lift it back up themselves. You didn't have to give anybody the stink eye to make them. There really wasn't any guest to guest enforcement. It really wasn't necessary. It was really good.
And people were really very, very good about copping a squat to eat. Even at Magic Kingdom and stuff like that, you would see them sitting down, eating their thing, putting their mask back on, and then going.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I felt safer there than I have felt anywhere since this whole thing started.
And people were really good about physical distancing. They would walk up on somebody and go "Oh, I'm sorry," and they would step back. So nobody it was pretty rare that somebody would walk up on you and just kind of stay there. They would realize, oh, I violated your space, and they would back off.
Right.
The theme park is perfect on any case. I've been wanting that for a decade. So give me.
We're hey, they can keep the physical distancing markers when this whole thing goes away, because it's so nice to not have some random person crawling up your back in line.
I got to ask you, this could be my new go-to question. I just thought about it while you were mentioning that. Did you see any like awesome masks? Because this is kind of like the badge of honor that's right on your face. Did you see any? I mean, like I've ordered Mizzou masks, and I hope they get here by the time we leave. I got 3 of them, different models. But I mean, what was the best mask you saw? That's kind of like your badge of honor.
The mask that I bought Owen from Etsy, I got him 3 Mandalorian masks, and his are awesome. They all have like just the cutest little baby Yodas on them and stuff like that. So his are actually some of my most favorite masks I've ever seen.
But yeah, there was quite a bit of originality with people wearing different masks that they brought in. And you're like, oh, that's cute. I like that. So yeah, there was quite a bit of that.
And the Disney masks that you can buy there are actually pretty breathable, because I'm a mask connoisseur at this point, because, working in the hospital, I've been wearing them for months. So those are actually really breathable, and they're comfortable behind your ears. So I like those, and I like the disposable paper surgical mask, just because I can breathe better in them, and I'm used to wearing them from going to the OR and stuff like that. So it's just easy for me.
Yeah, I'm going to bring some of those disposable ones, but I want to rock the Mizzou, but we'll see how that, and like I said, I haven't worn them very much. I'm going to see how it goes. I will give the honest to God, because I will be the test subject, because I do not wear them because I never leave the house. So this will be new, and it's it's going to be early August. It was July. So Robert, what about you though? I mean, because I know Erica, you wear one. It is hot down there. I mean, did it bother you, or did you start to get used to it, or what? Because I just can't imagine you would get used to it that much in July.
At one point I said to Erica, I said, I've heard some people say that they forget the mask is on. I'm never going to say that. I always was aware that it was on my face, but it never got in the way of me having fun.
Nice.
I was able to breathe in it just fine. I didn't feel like it was choking me, or I had to pull it down all the time. It didn't get in the way of having fun at all.
No, and even Owen, because he can be a bit of a wimp. So I was really worried that he was just going to be complaining the whole time, and he's not really had to, because he's stayed home this entire time, except he's gotten 2 haircuts, so he's really not wearing a mask. So I was really afraid that he was going to complain a lot, but he was with it. He was like, I don't care. I want to be at Disney. We're doing this.
Yeah, I think that's the bottom line. It's like, I want to be at, I want to be down at Walt Disney World, so I'm going to wear it. That's what's got to happen. That's what's got to happen. Got to wear it on the plane. Wear it on the plane. Everybody's doing it, and I'm going to feel way safer. It's if anything else, it's like right in front of my eyeballs, and it's a physical reminder that I'm a little bit safer, and that when I see it on everybody else's face, front and center, that is also making me safer. So it's giving me more confidence. I think, like you said, that maybe when I drive through Taco Bell and I don't wear a mask, and the guys at Taco Bell have them around the chin, so.
Right. The only thing that wasn't really clear to me was the gym rules, because I did work out in the mornings before we would go to the park, and I knew I obviously had to wear my mask down to the gym. And the first day I get there, and there are 3 other people that are socially distanced doing their thing, and they're not wearing theirs. So I was like, sweet. So, I hit the rower and I'm not dying. Then the next day I go down, and there are these 3 guys that look like they were on Muscle Beach, and here's little skinny me, and they're all wearing their masks. So I'm like, what am I supposed to do? So then I was doing a 2K row in a mask, thinking I was going to die.
Yeah, that's my biggest concern when I go down this week, is that I'm going to run around Hourglass Lake, and I know you're supposed to have them on. What I think I'm going to do is just nobody smoke me out for this, but if I'm not around, and I run before the sun comes up, so there won't be many people out there. When I'm on the back stretch where I'm not even by the 2 hotels, like on the 2 ends of the Hourglass, I might pull it down, get some oxygen, and pull it back up if I see somebody coming down the path, because I'll be.
And I think that's fine, because like I said, in the gym, that's what we did the first day, is like everybody stayed away from everybody, but you were able to work out without it. So it was just, there should have been clear rules, like you don't have to wear it inside the gym, or you do have to wear it inside the gym. And it was just vague, and there was nobody to ask.
Yeah. So. All right. So I love all this stuff, because this is the useful stuff for people going down here this fall. But let's get into the fun. You guys went down and had some fun. So what were the highlights? You got to see some of those character cavalcades. You got to experience some of these new things. So tell us about just the general fun you had at Walt Disney World.
So it was really nice just to get to be able to walk onto almost every ride. There were very few rides that we had to wait for. 7 Doors, we waited 20 minutes. Peter Pan was a 10-minute wait. And I said to Erica several times, the Magic Kingdom is the busiest park here, of all the ones that we've been to. And it was 10-minute wait both times for Peter Pan. We got to ride Mickey and Minnie 4 times.
Oh,
No spoilers, I won't ruin it for you,
But
but it's great.
so far, yeah.
Great.
It's awesome. I mean, I was a big Great Movie Ride fan, so I'm
Yeah.
getting to walk away still happy, right? I'm not gonna be bad. Okay.
Yeah, no, you'll love it. Flight of Passage, we got off, and when we got near the exit, they said, "Would you like to ride again? You can just loop around that way," and it cut off 3/4 of the line. We were back in line like within 5 minutes,
Yep.
ready to go in. So we rode Flight of Passage
4 times.
4 times. So we rode it like twice in a row in 10 minutes, basically. Not counting the ride time. So that was nice. The character cavalcades, I think we kind of agree. We
I love
like
them.
them better than meet and greets because you don't have to stand in line and you still get to meet the characters, and you avoid the awkward conversation with the character where you don't know what to say.
That's true.
So-
That's true.
Or the head characters that are miming to you, and you're like, what do you want?
Yeah, for somebody that goes down solo a lot, these media events we've been invited to, they always have characters there, and they always want you to meet every character, obviously, to post it on social media, tag it with the hashtag they're using or whatever. And it is always so awkward as like a 45-year-old single dude, like, meeting Elsa. It's like, this is so weird. So yeah, I'm all about socially distant greetings.
Literally, one of my highlights was I was Disney bounding as Snow White, so I had on like yellow shorts and a blue shirt and some Snow White ears and red shoes. So the cavalcade goes through, and Snow White sees me, and she started freaking out. She was like, "Oh, your shorts and your shirt and your ears, oh, and your shoes!" And I was just like, "Ah!"
Now,
Yeah.
during the trip, did you guys kind of, because I've seen Len doing this a lot, folks, like, did you guys get good at the socially distant selfie where you have to, like, you're in the picture and they're kind of, way behind you, but they're kind of looking too, because that's going to be a new challenge for me when I go down this week.
We didn't do any of that.
Yeah, we didn't do that at all.
A lot of pictures, but you guys didn't do any of that? I'm all about that. I'm going to get the socially distance double selfie.
I mean, you've seen my pictures. I have that big camera, so it's hard for me to selfie it. So
Well, that's true.
yeah.
That's true. Well, I was going to ask you about that because I would think that in this kind of situation that it's almost like a photographer's dream. And give everybody your Instagrams, because everybody needs to check out your pictures, because you post like certain pictures on certain days of the week. You take amazing pictures, especially when I can't get down and I'm homesick for the place. They help so much. But it had to have been like a photographer's dream, because when are you ever going to have space like that without people to take these amazing shots?
Yeah, I see these pictures on Instagram. I'm like, oh, I gotta copy that, but I can't stay out till midnight to catch an empty Magic Kingdom at 10 o'clock in the morning. Walk down Main Street, I take a picture with 4 people in it. So I'm like, okay, I can Photoshop them out, no problem. That's easy. So. It was great. So on Instagram, I'm Robert Perrin 25, just all one word. So yeah, anybody want to come over and tell me what I can do to take better pictures, I'm open to criticism. So
You take great ones. I love your pictures. And Erica, you have always good ones on yours too.
Oh, well, thank you.
I love it. The thing was too, here's another thing that I saw in your pictures, and I saw somebody comment on it on Instagram. I think it was on last Wednesday or Tuesday or something like that, was that it was a picture of you two and Owen, and you look happy, but it's so weird to say that because you all 3 have on masks, but there's a way that you can tell that you're happy, even though you still can't see your mouth at all. Your nose and mouth's covered with the mask, but there was like a smile that you could almost see through the mask. I mean, it was kind of a strange thing, but I guess that's the times we're living in.
right.
It's like taking those photo pass pictures is really funny because you just automatically smile and you're like, why am I bothering?
Right. Yeah. A couple of photo pass photographers are like, smile. And I'm like, and they laughed, they like, yeah, we get it.
This is going to be awesome to take a moody 12-year-old like I'm doing, because you know what? You can't lose for one trip, because I do have pictures of her in like long lines, like, because, I was trying to amuse her when she was like 9 or 10 and she's just, looking like grumpy, I'd be like, I'm going to take your picture like that, so you better smile. So these masks might have something for them.
That's true.
Well, you mentioned all these short lines. So what, like dining, how did that work out for you guys as far as getting reservations, eating where you wanted? Some places are closed. What were some of the highlights there?
Go ahead.
One of the biggest highlights was Topolino's. We ate dinner there, and there was this whole thing with our boarding group for Rise of the Resistance, and it was down. So we decided we'll just hop the Skyliner, go back to the Riv, see if we can get in early, and then get back to the park. So we get there, and the guy at the front desk, his name was Kyle. We told him, and he's like, well, I'll go ahead and try to get you in. He's like, but there's no guarantee you're going to get in before your reservation. I was like, that's fine. We'll just go down to our room. We're 2 floors down. We're good. Not 5 minutes.
5 minutes, we're back.
I get a text, and we're back. So we get there, take us to our table. Our server, Paul, was amazing. He was telling us how he's been with the company for 10 years. He opened up the restaurant. So it was like 3 months of intense training, but it was a pared down menu. So, which we get, but the food that we got was amazing. Owen and I got the lamb shank, and that thing was huge. It was huge. And then he got the filet.
The wood-fired filet is probably the best steak I've ever had. It was incredible.
So I was having Taco Bell, I think, the night you guys sent your pictures of your dinners that evening. And I was so hungry after that. I was like, oh, I love my Taco Bell, but you guys are winning so hard. That food, it looked like something that you would find in a culinary magazine. It was the presentation, and I'm not a foodie, but the presentation of it like made my mouth water just looking at it from a distance. It was not only tasty, like you said, but it just looked amazing.
Right. And, I'll have to say for like across all the restaurants, if people are worried that, because they're running at a lower capacity, that maybe they're not producing their best food, put those concerns away, because the food quality was top notch across the board. Every restaurant we went to was the best quality consistently we've ever had.
Yeah. Via Napoli in Italy, we ate there our first night, and I got the spinach and ricotta ravioli. I won dinner that night.
Yeah.
It was so good. we have a contest. Who wins? Who wins each meal?
That's a good one.
And all the cast members, whether they were servers before or not, everybody was on top of their game. Best customer service, we've seen top to bottom in a long time.
And just happy to be back.
Happy to be back.
That's good, because I think it's both ways. The guests are happy to be there. The cast members are glad to be working, I'd imagine. So it's kind of a win-win. Now, speaking of World Showcase, because you guys are veteran travelers, so what's the vibe like in World Showcase without so much of the cultural representatives? Because I've heard that there are some that kind of over on the program, but then they stayed, and they're just the residents here now, but they might be from Norway and they just moved here. But for the most part, what's that vibe in World Showcase?
It's weird.
Yeah, it's different. A lot of World Showcase isn't open. There's still quite a bit of it that's closed, like the gift shop for China. All of that is closed. So it definitely felt more deserted, and you do really have some really good interactions with the foreign cast members that was missing. And not to say that the American cast members weren't doing their best. And they were doing a great job. It's just a little different. It's different than what you're used to.
Yeah. That is what makes you to me, and I think to you guys too, and to most of us listening, is that, Epcot is that mini snapshot of the world, which, it's an idealized snapshot of the world. We get that, but it is neat for somebody from Missouri, for me, that doesn't travel internationally ever, unless I'm on a cruise to the Caribbean. And that's not that, that's not that exotic. I've never been to Europe, never been to Australia or Asia or anything. So when I get to interact with somebody from Germany or somebody from Japan or somebody from Morocco, that's a highlight to me. And that is one of the selling points of World Showcase. So I understand where we are right now. People kind of have to stay close to home, but I hope that returns sooner than later, because that's my Epcot and that's what I wanted to know. And I figured that, but I kind of wanted to hear it from you guys.
Yeah, it's true. Those cast members make it, because then you feel like you can submerge and you can, talk about their country and this and that there, because we've done that a lot in World Showcase.
Yeah, so, and Paige learned more about the world, like doing like the little Epcot passports and the Epcot KidCot stops, talking to people coloring the Duffy or whatever back in the day. We have pictures, and just she would talk about it. Well, yeah, I remember that because, this cast member in the UK told me that about her city that she lives in. And, like she was 8, like, how do you remember that? But that's how she saw the United Kingdom, because of that interaction.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very cool.
But I mean, for the most part, I was still very happy to be in World Showcase.
Totally. Let me ask you this too. So the park hours are kind of weird for folks that are traditional Walt Disney World travelers. We're used to like a Magic Kingdom being like an 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. kind of situation, 9 to 9 for Epcot, studios, maybe 8 to 9, 8 to 10, something like that. Staggered openings, and Magic Kingdom closing around 7, studios at 8, Epcot at 9, Animal Kingdom usually at 6-ish. So it presents an opportunity, I guess, to go back to the hotel or go to Disney Springs and maybe get it, swim, whatever you have. But how did you guys handle how it kind of shifted the way you tour the parks and structure your vacation?
So we slept in a lot.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? Yeah, exactly.
We didn't rope drop one park. We actually kind of avoided it, and when we get back to the resort early. A lot of times we would kind of work our dinner in to be kind of late so we could enjoy a late dinner. We did get some swimming in when the weather would permit it in July. No, we didn't swim as much as we'd liked. We ended up not going to Disney Springs at all, just because we had heard that Disney Springs at night gets a little wild. So we avoided it. When we really didn't need to go to Disney Springs this trip. We wanted to be more about the parks
And the Skyliner.
Yeah.
Oh, the Skyliner.
So was this the first time you guys stayed on a Skyliner resort since it opened?
No, because we were at Beach Club in October, and I consider that a Skyliner resort because it's just, so close to the International Gateway.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, and folks that haven't taken advantage of that, now it's fun to like just ride if you're, just like saying you're leaving the studios, you're leaving Epcot, you take it over for, so, and it is, I mean, I'm not kidding. I know I'm a big kid, but it's the ride before the rides is what it's so fun. Yeah. I would ride it for nothing. But the thing is, when you're at a hotel where that is your mode of transportation to 2 parks, honestly, it's game changing how fast, especially at Pop, like, and you guys are at the Riviera, especially you're at the hub, boom, you are just at the studios. Boom. I mean, like 10, it's unbelievable until you experience it.
It's running the problem.
Yeah. So like the Skyliners were running at one point, and I thought, okay, it's open, let's go, because they had shut it down because of weather. We went over to the hub to get on, and the cast member was like, we're not loading right now. And he had no idea how long it was going to be. And even though the cars were running, so we ended up catching a bus from the Riv, and then that was a little bit of a mess. But I mean, it didn't ruin the day. Nowhere near that. We still had fun at Epcot that day. So
cool. Oh my gosh, I hope we have good weather when we're down there, because I know there's a tropical storm that could be hitting like right about the time this show releases or this past weekend, because we're recording this one a little bit early, but let's cross our fingers. There's so many things that could go wrong, and with it being 2020, I take nothing off the table from getting down there
for our trip. So I get it.
It's just it's 20. I mean, I've lost Ample Hills. I've lost my favorite TV show. I've lost, pretty much my job. No, I got my job. I just don't get paid. 2020 has been a fun one. No, but it's fine. We're hanging in there. I think we're on the other side. We're going to make improvements and get through this. And, this is a start, getting the parks back open, and like you guys going on vacation with Owen. So what did Owen think? Because I think it's different for folks that are a little more mature, and we have, some experience with just getting through times when they're weird. But, Owen's a teenager. What were his thoughts?
He was super happy to be back on some of the rides, just to be back at Disney World, to go ride Rock and Roller Coaster
2 times in a row.
2 times in a row, and just to, he was excited to go. And then once he saw how short the waits were, he was even more excited about doing that. And then all the good food and everything that we get from each trip, he really had a great time.
He really did. And he really liked the fact that we weren't rope dropping anything. He's not one to really sleep late, but he doesn't want to get up super early either. So like I would get up at like 8:00 and dress and go down to the gym, and he's like pulling the shit over his head.
That's me. I'll be up running, and now we're going to be sleeping in. Just locking her in, and she can stay sleeping. And because I just run right by the hotel, Pop Century, I'll just get a Lakeview room and just run past the room every few minutes, and there you go. So,
and, I think he really liked it. Even though it was a 10-hour park day, we really only went for 7-8 hours. Got everything done, so we didn't wear him out. Going to the park all day long, like when it's open from sun up to sundown like we normally do. So I think he really liked that too.
Yeah, and we went in the room once. So we went back to Hollywood Studios after Topolino's, and Owen's like, I'm tapping out. So he like stayed in the room, and we helped the Skyliner and was like, bye.
That's cool. That's awesome. So you guys apparently did not miss Fast Pass this trip. It was okay.
No, not at all.
I kind of hope it never comes back.
I saw your tweet to Lynn last week.
I will say that not having Fast Passes kept me off my phone, because you're not constantly having to look for the next Fast Pass. So I would get on my phone and I would story, but I really wasn't on my phone hardly at all. So it was really nice to actually be there instead of always on trying to get Fast Pass.
I'll be on my phone a lot because I like to post pictures, but it's just me. I mean,
he was texting you.
I know, and I appreciated that so very much. So did my whole family, because everybody's like, "What did Robert and Erica do today?" I'm like, "Well, Pam was asking, Mallory's asking, Mallory's super excited." Yeah, it was neat. But okay, as we wrap this up, because we're getting a little bit long here, but was there one story that kind of summarized this trip, like a special thing that happened, or just something unique about this trip when you look back, 10 years down the line, that 2020 summer trip? What's going to be the story for this one?
I just shooting from the hip right away. It would be just the no waits. I have no wait for really anything. We're just so used to always having to stand in big crowds, and for that to not be, it's never, we've only been going since 2011. It's never been this slow for us. So that would probably be the one thing I would remember right away.
Yeah, really the only time we waited was like twice. Both times we rode Test Track, we caught it in a cleaning cycle. And some rides, the cleaning cycles are not very long, but with Test Track, that cleaning cycle is long.
I bet.
With all those different cars that they have to send out. So it was probably a 20 to 30 minute cleaning cycle with those cars. So that was really the only time we really waited.
Yeah.
They should totally play that song "Car Wash" by Rose, and like have them come out in disco clothes and like jumpsuits and afros and cars. It'd be awesome. Like, give me the disco. That's my jam, man. I'd sign up for that job. That'd be cool, because I had my my wig for the podcast cruise. I was looking very 70s with my leisure suit, and I'd have to bust it back out. That'd be perfect.
We're also Camelback people. All three of us have our own Camelbacks. So I think now more than ever, that would be really, really important for people, because it is very hard to stay hydrated wearing a mask. So it was really easy just to kind of take your hose, put it up your mask. And
I was worried you were going to say up your nose. I thought you were going to say take your hose, stick it up your nose. I'm out. I'll dehydrate.
So, I mean, and plus you can keep your extra masks, because you really do need to have like 2 or 3 masks with you in the park, because they're going to get sweaty or breath, So put those in your Camelback backpack, and then you have your water with you, and you're good to go.
And for those that don't know, because we have a lot of international listeners, and I might not have known either, a Camelback's like a backpack that has a bladder that holds water, so that there's a hose that kind of goes on the strap of your shoulder there, and you just kind of suck, it's like a big straw into your backpack. So do you just buy those like at a sporting goods store or Amazon, something like that?
Yep.
Dick's Academy.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, it seems like a good idea. So I might have to rush out and get one of those. It's a great idea. And so multiple masks. Is there anything else? Like, did your lips get chapped? I mean, now that you guys have been down there in the heat, did you do you need like breath mints? Does that help, like, with everything? I just wondering like what to bring. Yeah.
One of those in our Camelback.
Yeah.
So we would have those, and of course I tend to get a little bit hangry, so we would have what we call Hangry Snacks.
Go for it.
Yeah, you really need the icebreakers after you eat.
Yeah.
You really get to smell your dinner again.
Yeah, because it's true. I mean, the heat doesn't take those bills, man. Nobody wants to smell that for the next 3 hours. Holy cow.
Right.
Oh my gosh. So it sounds like you guys had a good time. I mean, I was so excited to follow along in real time through the text messages, and I knew we'd get to do this show. But you would obviously, it sounds like you would encourage people to get down there and just make the best. It's not going to be the same vacation. It's going to be better in ways, going to be worse in ways, but just going to be, honestly, it sounds like it's just going to be a little bit different.
I even think that if first timers are hesitant to go, don't. We saw several first timer badges down there. as a first timer, you're going to get to see a Disney that you're never going to get to see again. Go and make the most of it. Don't be scared off by no parades, no fireworks, no character meets. There's still so much to do.
All right. Well, I'll have my trip report next Monday, hopefully. And, we'll see. You know what the thing is, I'm more excited for this trip than I've been in a super, super long time because it was taken away, and we didn't know when it was coming back. I didn't know if I was getting to go this August. The only reason I'm going, we had frequent flyer miles that were going to expire. So the flights were free. Mallory and I both have annual passes. We got an unbelievable rate at Pop Century on a travel agent rate. So we're going down for like less than $400 in, and then food, and we're going to eat here. So, we're going to very carefully not buy souvenirs, anything like that. So it's a very inexpensive trip, but it's going to be something I think that with everything Mallory's missed out on, cheerleading got canceled. They didn't get to go to Summit World Championships at Disney. They've even, shut down their cheerleading practices. They can't stunt right now. They can just do basically workouts, so she's missed out on a lot. I'm not worried about me, but I've never had a father-daughter trip with just her. I took them with Paige all the time. So I feel kind of guilty. She's already 12. So we're going to get down, and I'm going to use all these tips you guys shared, and I'll be sharing it on social media. So, but you guys, I want you to know, you guys got me so excited, and I'm glad you had a great time because it just seems like it is different, but it is a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, that was probably the most fun I've had in a while.
Yep.
Oh my God.
We shot from the hip the entire trip.
And we're planners.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's good to hear because I plan all day for people and I do not plan for my family. I'm terrible. Thank God I'm friends with Scott. Scott always takes care of the ADRs for marathon weekend. He already did my theme park reservations. I don't know where I'm going, but Scott does. It's like he does all that stuff because he doesn't do it all day every day. Everybody loves it, and I don't mind it either. But it's one of those things. This is going to be exciting because I'm excited to not have ADRs. We're just going to eat counter service here and there, no fast passes, and just because everybody's kind of over the last decade, we've always said, what if a trip was more spontaneous? Because we always said, oh, fast pass and ADRs to take away all the spontaneity. This is going to be the trip where I can put that to the test. If we want to go ride Space Mountain, let's go ride it. Want to ride Big Thunder? Hey, let's go. It's really going to be strange, but I mean, it sounds like it'll work out.
Yep. It'll be great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey guys, thanks for taking the time to come on and tell Owen we said hello and I appreciate it. We'll have to talk soon after your next trip.
Okay. Thanks.
All righty. Don't forget today's show brought to you by our friends over at the Magic for Less Travel. Check them out today over at themagicforless.com. We're booking those 2021 fall Disney cruises. They're going like hotcakes. And hot take, I think those sailings are going to sail. Those ships are going to be back by Christmas 2021. Oh my gosh, I'm missing my ships. I'm so bad, guys. I watch them on the Marine app. I look on there to see where the ships are, just to know that they're there somewhere. And they're usually just all hanging out like on Cocoa Beach, right outside Port Canaveral. But yeah, so if you want to book that next Disney cruise, we're going to get you out to sea. It's one of the best Disney vacations ever. We'll get you up to a 5% onboard credit to spend like cash during the cruise. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Also use our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Get your camel back. That's a good idea. Get your camel back on Amazon. You'll stay hydrated and you'll support the show at the same time. So check them out over at beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Finally, become a patron of the show for some extra content. We have polls, discussions, photos from back in the day, and a mini podcast. It's not the greatest podcast in the world. It's just, it's a mini podcast. I'll say that. It's called Mike in the Midwest. We talk about old arcades, old shopping malls, sounds of summer, all kinds of crazy stuff. So check it out. All the offerings over at patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. All right, time to duck out of here. We are going to be back again together on Wednesday. Or guess what? We're answering your listener questions. That's what we do every Wednesday. So for Robert and Erica, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Monday. Time to head back to work, and we'll see you real soon. Boom. Thanks, guys. That's good. Oh, we need the illumination stuff. Oh. Guys, it wasn't weird. I love fireworks. And so I know that it's going to be okay because I actually won't have to stay at the park so late. But I mean, like when we're going to the Magic Kingdom the first day, leaving at 7:00. Oh my God.
Dude, my first job was at the fireworks supermarket in Kodak, Tennessee. So I love me some fireworks. I was fun.
Oh yeah.
I was fun.
4th of July here. Oh my God. It was probably the same in Tennessee. we moved to the county where they're legal. Now, we only moved 17 miles from St. Louis County to St. Charles County, but it's a whole different world. Like super conservative out here. You see all the American flags, pickup trucks, all that stuff. St. Louis County, not so much. Fireworks are legal out here. It sounded like for like 4 or 5 days around the 4th of July, it sounded like we were being bombarded. And we shot off 1 million of them too. So we had fun.
Yeah, fireworks are legal here. So that's what it sounds like, the 4th of July and New Year's and Memorial Day.
Yeah.
So.
Isn't Tennessee where they have that fireworks stand on the way to Disney where it's like down in kind of like looks like like cliffs or something, like Fireworks City? There's like a little gas station down there.
Right, Interstate Parks is that big fireworks stand right there.
Yeah, there's like a crystal down there. I used to go in there and get a crystal. Yeah,
Tennessee, Alabama fireworks. That is
totally it. Yep, we've stopped there.
We had a fireworks supermarket there too, because it was a chain, because it was one of the big silver stars. So
that is it. The Alabama Tennessee fire. Yes. See, that's why I miss my road trips. Now I don't miss it because of my back. But, oh my God, those kind of places. Yep. Well, I'm gonna run because I got to watch the family. We're watching that Tough as Nails show with the Amazing Race guy. Have you seen that yet on CBS?
What's it on? It's on
CBS at 7 on Wednesdays, and it's Phil Keegan who does Amazing Race, and it's 12 blue collar workers, and it's kind of like a reality. I mean, it's not like Big Brother or anything. It's not real drama, but it's just every week they go to a different job site. Like one day they were at a farm, one day they were shoveling coal, another day they were working on the railroad, and these 12 people from all like blue collar jobs, they like compete for these challenges. Pretty interesting thing. Cause like my dad and grandpa were both cement masons and, stuff they did. And I feel bad because like my dad and grandpa could do, like they could fix anything. They could make anything. And here I am, dude. I can't even use like a screwdriver. I feel so guilty. I hate it. Such a baby sitting. My dad and grandpa are, they're construction workers. What do? I'm a podcaster now. It's better when I was a teacher. Good Lord. I'm like a 12-year-old girl.
Podcaster.
I create social media content.
Exactly. I'm an
influencer.
I'm a travel agent. I know, it's so sad.
Did you see where I had Owen do a sorority squat in front of the popsicle stick wall?
I did not do that. I need to. I did not. Yeah, that's one thing. I might get a little blister on my mouse finger here every once in a while from clicking. My dad's got calluses, and he's got big old hands. Yeah, so I like watching that show. It kind of makes me like, oh, well, I wish I was more like that. I need a little more blue collar in my collar. I don't have much. All right, well, I got to run, see what everybody's doing upstairs. But thanks for doing this, guys. I appreciate it. Tell Owen we said hey.
Yeah, tell everybody we said hey too.
Absolutely. We'll see you. We'll have to meet up sometime. Hopefully we can get a football game or something.
Yeah, hopefully.
Let's please cross our fingers.
Yeah.
All right, talk to you guys.